I had to just stop and look at this creek this morning because so so I recently moved to the city, but when I come down to work on the reservation, I stay with my parents. And the other night, it was probably about midnight. I was sleeping in the living room at my parents' house, and I heard our dog barking, and I laid there for a little bit, and I was just listening, and he kind of stopped for a minute, and then I heard a really faint knock at the front door. And so I look over and I see the silhouette of somebody standing in our glass living room door. I'm like, what the hell? And I look at the time, and it's late. It's like midnight. And so I get up to go look and see who it is, and it's a young woman standing there, and she's crying, and she's like, can I get a ride to? And she's standing there, and she asked me, can I use the phone? I need a ride back into Pine Ridge. And mind you, we live like 8 or 9 miles away from Pine Ridge, out almost in the middle of nowhere. We literally have hardly any neighbors. And I wake up my parents and I tell them, there's a young girl. She's at the door. She's crying. She needs help. They immediately jump up and, they go and talk to her, and they, ask her, what happened. And it turns out that she ran from the cops. She was at a party, and she went through the creek running from the cops, and she made it all the way to our house. And mind you, we hardly have any neighbors. And I think about the fact that had anything happened, had she went to the wrong house, had she went to our house and we weren't home, or there's a number of things, twisted her ankle in the middle of the night, it could have went so wrong for her being out here in the wilderness at 30 degrees, went through the creek. She's like freezing cold. Anyway, and me being the recovering addict, I've made a lot of questionable decisions in my life, and I think a lot about the fact that, partying put her into this position. And I have a lot of sympathy for people who are going through that, because it is possible to turn your life around and get onto a better path. But I think a lot about the fact that she had to have had somebody watching over her, because so many things could have went wrong with that situation. But she made it to Pine Ridge safely, and thank God my parents are so kind and gracious. They jumped right up and gave her a ride to where she needed to go and got her to safety. But man, I really do think about the fact that she got lucky, and I think a lot about the people who didn't get so lucky when they were in situations like that, because a lot of people go missing on this reservation, and it's devastating. I know exactly how that feels when your relative goes missing. But anyway, that's just my thoughts for today. I was just like, damn, she really went through that creek in the middle of the night. It was like freezing 30 degrees outside.